Hello, this is Matt Ullman, and yes, I'm doing this on this account because for some odd reason now you need a Google account, and I only have one. So, this is it now. I wanted to talk about Ring of Honor, which many of you may not know because you don't get HDNet, and even if you do, it doesn't matter now because it's not on there anymore. They have Haas and Benjamin. Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin won their World Tag Team titles at their last internet pay-per-view, which is incidentally something I like because I can actually afford it now. It's not 40 and 50 bucks, it's 20. Hey, anybody can afford 20. So, and I can watch it over and over. So hey, one of the things that got me though is on the first night, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas won the titles. Well, on the second night, a tag team called the Briscos, who are fairly decent. I'm not going to say they're stupendous because they're not. And let's be honest, they're the Bushwhackers, only they're better built. And crazier if that's possible. So they're the sheep herders, basically. Just in better shape and with their redneck kung fu, whatever that is. Never really got that. So, here we have, like I said, they're fairly decent, but one thing that I've noticed I've gotten really sick of, I got into them a year ago this month. They had the Big Bang, which happened to be on my birthday. It's like, oh, okay, happy birthday to me, I'm going to order my first pay-per-view. And it was good. But then I noticed a disturbing trend. The Briscos were always there. Always at the top. Always in the limelight. Always taking time from the other tag teams. It's like, well, they're passable, but why are these guys the only thing going? And so when Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas won, I'm like, okay. You have the Dark City Fight Club, which is the NWA Tag Team Champions right now, who haven't been in a while, but this would be kind of a cool matchup. You have the American Wolves, who said they won't fight again, but come on. The Wolves are a good team. Eventually, they're going to want to try. You have the All Night Express, Rhett Titus and Kenny King, who are an amazing team. Okay, there's three teams right there. You had the Embassy, who I guess left because they were sick of getting screwed. They were great people. They just did not win for some reason or another, and there were a couple of times like, why aren't they winning? They're better than the people they're fighting. Like, and nothing against Eddie Edwards, but he faced, cannot think of his name right now. Sean Davari. He faced Sean Davari. And I like Sean Davari. I think he's an amazing athlete. And Eddie snuck it out. Well, okay, good for Eddie. And it's just, the person who beat him was Christopher Daniels. Again, high props to Daniels. I love Daniels. And I love even more that he's a bad guy in the House of Truth now. Because I love the House of Truth. But see, I don't think he turned so that he could get another title shot. He turned because he was fed up. Okay, there was a story there. He hadn't been the world champion. He defeated Eddie Edwards, who had defeated him before. So he gets a shot. Hey, I can beat you now, and loses. That'd tick me off too, okay? And if somebody had taken a frustrated wrestler and led him to the top, I'd probably, hey, can you do that for me too? But the deal with the Briscos is they just seem, their whole motto, and this is fine. If we ain't got the title, something's wrong. Well, you're a tag team. Your purpose is to own those titles, no matter what. But they go a little far. How often do you see the Dark City Fight Club anymore? Honestly, how much do people respect the All Night Express? You know, the Embassy's long gone. The Embassy broke up and disbanded. Now they got some guy who's really good, by the way. I don't know his name. I haven't seen him enough. But he's a really good person. You've got the House of Truth, who do have a tag team that you rarely see. They had a group called the Super Smash Brothers, who I know I get teased a lot for liking, but if you want to know why I like them, look up the Super Smash Brothers versus the American Males. A friend of mine who does not like wrestling at all we do a podcast, and ROH was on afterwards. Well, I used to take him home. I'm like, can I watch this first? And American Males came out and I'm like, okay, this is a wash. This will be over in 3 minutes. It took over 20. And the Super Smash Brothers took them to the limit. Now, the week after, of course, the Briscos were one. They got their ass handed to them. It was the Briscos and the Kings of Wrestling who were the tag champs. It's like, that's the only... And then they disappeared. It's like you put them with a group who is hell-bent on not losing and, in fact, constantly owning the titles. Then you put them with the tag team champions who cheat, who cheat as often as a nun prays in a day. That's all they're good for. I mean, they finally lost, and it was a great match, but they lost because they were trying to cheat. I mean, come on. I don't like the Kings of Wrestling because they have yet to prove to me that they can defend the title on their own power. They always have to cheat. That's bullshit. I don't care if you're a heel. I'm more impressed with a heel who cheats, but who steps up their game to prove that, hey, I can do more than cheat. I can actually wrestle. And they won't do that. Claudio Castagnoli is terrific. Chris Hero is sucking on mommy's tit because he can't do anything or win without that stupid elbow pad of his. So fine, let them do what they want. But when they went out against a team who was just there to make people enjoy things, they had one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. Okay? And I'm 37. I've seen a lot. But getting back to the Briscos, it's like, the reason I'm talking about this is lordsofpain.net just reported that the Briscos are the first title defense for Benjamin and Haas, and the first words in my mind were transitional champions. They were sick of it. Everybody knew that they couldn't beat the Kings of Wrestling because Kings of Wrestling would always hose them over by cheating, even though the Briscos cheat as much as they do. So now it's like, okay, here's a team that's just good on wrestling. Do you think you guys can beat them? You're the heels now. Now you can openly cheat. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking of, because Haas and Benjamin, they're a good tag team. Benjamin just tried out for the WWE in some dark matches. So maybe they're not going to be there as long as they thought. But I could have sworn they just signed like a year contract not too long ago. So you get these guys in, you put them over, you give them the belts, and then what? You're just going to feed them to somebody and let them sit out their contracts? Come on, this is Jimmy Cornette. He's smarter than this. Unfortunately, he's not booking. Delirious is. So I guess we know whose dick is sucking. Who's sucking Delirious's dick, don't we? It's the Briscos, apparently. And if you want to take offense to this, fine, take offense to this. This is somebody who's been watching wrestling, who's sick to death of the current product, Ring of Honor aside, that was on TV. Can't be more elated that WWE took the word wrestling out, so now everybody can go with the fans and saying, well, you haven't put on a decent wrestling show in years, so we stopped calling you wrestling long ago. It's nice you caught up. I don't watch TNA. The reason being, I'm sorry, it's just never caught my attention. Even watching some of them, no, I just can't get into it. So, I'm not saying there aren't great guys. Christopher Daniels is there too. But there's nothing for me there. Sorry. So, if you want, right down there, right down there, put comments, thoughts, death threats. I personally couldn't give a shit. So, hey, bye.